Live from the starting grid, welcome to the P20 Podcast. It's your host, Tron, and I'm here with my co-host. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
What up? It's your boy, A-Rod. Welcome to P20, man. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the upcoming topics.
Yup, we going fast on the P20 Podcast. It's Flyboy C. What's up with y'all?
It's your boy Sauce, man. Welcome to the P20 Podcast, man. Y'all keep on joining in and appreciate y'all for coming, man.
And I know what y'all thinking. Why P20? It's because we up and coming. Don't worry about all that. But let's go ahead and get into the topics, y'all. So I know we starting this podcast kind of late. It is already the third race of the season. But I did kind of want to get into the first couple of races. So
we started late, like Sebastian Vettel's qualifying run, huh?
That shit is crazy, man. And he just got good.
I know.
A-Rod woke up and chose violence.
I'm
today.
loving it.
You know
I'm
what
loving
saying?
it. All right, y'all. So let's talk about the Bahrain race. We had a race where both Red Bulls didn't even finish.
I think that was unfortunate. Wasn't that was the engine problems, reliability issues?
Yeah. They were having some electrical issues. I feel like Sergio Perez just spun out and stalled his car. But yeah, we're gonna say it's gonna be engine issues.
Yeah.
It was definitely an opportunity that Mercedes capitalized on, though.
Definitely.
Not having a strong vehicle at all. At least not a competitive for a 1-2. Being handed a 3/4 in that race definitely has kept them in the running in these standings, especially since they have to still figure out some of the issues with their car and porpoising.
Yeah,
I think it's
true. For sure.
I think the whole problem is with like the tires. I think the tires are playing like a real big factor in it.
Yeah, they are brand new tires. They're a lot larger this year. And Mercedes, their car's kind of mid. Like A-Rod was saying, their car kind of mid. Like, I don't know if they're gonna be able to get that thing competitive in time.
They might be able to. It depends on how many long nights they're gonna be staying at that factory. Because just like how they were saying earlier, their cars, they like to make their cars to where it's really low to the ground. You can't do that, especially with them 16-inch rim tires. Like it's damn near impossible. They gonna have to. I feel like they'll figure out something. I don't think that they'll just be so far left off in the dust. I can't really give it until halfway.
So you can't see it.
And I can't see it right now, man.
I can dig it. How about them Ferraris though?
How about them Ferraris taking a 1-2 at Bahrain?
Yeah,
Sure.
They done switched places with Mercedes.
Yeah, and like A-Rod was saying earlier, like they've always been like competitive, you know what I'm saying, throughout F1. But like me getting into it, when I started watching it, just seeing where they were and where they are now, it's a big difference, like for sure.
Oh
So,
man,
like
speaking of big differences, let's talk about Haas and Kevin Magnussen finishing 5th after taking a year off of Formula One.
it's definitely something that I'm happy to see, right? I'm always going to root for the underdog, and Kevin Magnussen pretty much didn't even have a seat, and now he is the leading driver for Haas, and I believe he's got 12 points. So I'm excited for Haas. He did have a little bit of a struggle yesterday on his qualifying run. All cylinders weren't clicking. But Haas definitely has a lot of better vehicle and is, I believe, competitive in the midfield.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I remember when I first started watching with you guys, the way y'all used to talk about Haas and like seeing them this year is like a total 360 of a difference, like for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else y'all want to talk about with that? What did y'all think about that battle between Charles Leclerc and Verstappen when they were going at it head to head before he eventually went out of the race?
I think that's a battle that's going to keep on happening throughout the year, just like how it was Lewis and Verstappen last year. I think it's going to be because just like how we're saying, Mercedes does not have a good car at all. They still have to figure out what's going on whether they need more downforce, whether they need to raise it, whether they need a brand new chassis, they still need to figure that out. I feel like for right now, the top 3 teams is going to be Ferrari, it's going to be Red Bull, and it's either going to be, if Mercedes don't get their shit together, I'm putting my money on Haas or McLaren.
Ooh, money on Haas. Hot take.
Haas or really out. I want to say Alpine, but they don't have the drivers. To me.
So question. Like, I understand what y'all was saying about the changes and the tires and stuff like that, but from watching the Mercedes team last year and watching them this year, what happened? Like, how does a car go from super competitive? That's what I'm saying. How does a car go from elite competitive
to the cars
they're completely different. They're like
completely different car.
Yeah, it's not the hybrid like how it used to be last year. And then the rims, the tires, like with the tire change, you got to change the whole aspect of the car. The same thing that you was doing in the hybrid area when the tires weren't that big. It wasn't to where like the air filters, whenever you're driving, they made it to where like the air that's passing through isn't dirty anymore. So when they changed the whole aspect of the car and everything that you have to run as far as like fuel and what type of engine.
Yeah, I get it. I got you.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think they're just so used to how it is with like, okay, we can ride our cars this low. They need to figure that out though, because that's looking real bad.
All right, and then And then finishing up with this Bahrain race, Sebastian Vettel did not get to race because he had COVID.
Oh.
Unfortunate. And crazy enough, who was it? Daniel Ricciardo had COVID before this race, and he got over it just in time to be able to race. So, fucking, they're gonna have to get that situated.
He got it just in time to finish 14th in Bahrain, though. So the McLarens definitely struggled. Have been struggling in the first 2 races. I believe that here in the practice and the qualifying here, finally in race 3 is when they're actually starting to come to form, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple teams that are doing that also. Like you mentioned, the Alpines. Alpines they're the team is letting them race each other, and they're putting it to it. They're going as fast as they can in those cars, and they're definitely a competitive number 3 or number 4 team this year.
Wasn't that like the second race? Whenever it was you and Kirby was saying that, it was like, shit,
yeah,
they racing each other. They getting all the screen time.
No, they did in Saudi Arabia. I mean, we really didn't get to see Max Verstappen and Leclerc up front a lot because all the eyes were on the Alpines racing each other until it started getting a little bit sketchy, and that's when the team's like, all right, let's calm it down. But the team was absolutely letting them race, and they were going at each other.
And since we're talking about the second race, let's go ahead and get into it. Just to backtrack a little bit though, that fucking crash that Mick had in the middle of qualifying was ridiculous.
Right. Man, for sure, like, first and foremost, I'm glad he's okay. In hindsight, OMG, like, that's the worst wreck I've seen since I started watching Formula 1.
They wasn't even really replaying it like that whenever it first happened.
Yeah,
they wasn't.
I don't think they really knew what his condition was, and they didn't want to keep showing it if something worse had happened. But Jeddah's a crazy track, man. It's so many people crash on that track.
He said he bent a corner like at like 110 or something like that.
It was like, I think it was more than 110.
Yeah, I don't know. It might have even been more. I know that.
I think
he might. Schumacher might be having a little. Jeddah might be giving him a little bit of troubles because I believe he also crashed the season prior in that same track.
Yeah.
So
it was probably him, Latifi.
Yeah, I mean, you as you can see, we had 6 DNFs this race. So I mean, Jeddah's just kind of a monster for people. But another race. Go ahead.
That do not finish. Well, one of them was Tsunoda, wasn't it? And he had problems during qualifying.
Yeah, well,
Tsunoda just like one of the practices.
Yeah, Tsunoda actually didn't even get to start. His engine failed as they were doing the formation lap, and he just had to go in.
That's
like
correct.
that
They
was so
couldn't
weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So Yuki didn't even get to start, but like y'all were saying about the Alpines, they gave up a position doing it, but it was exciting to watch.
That's
Well,
TV.
in hindsight,
That's
yeah,
TV.
man. Somebody said that mid race. I remember. I'm like, look at all the decals. You know what I mean? Like they're just on these cars. It's like, yeah, it was a great promo for sure.
For sure.
At what cost?
At what cost though?
I know. Yeah.
Another thing that I want to kind of bring out, and during the qualifying, actually of Jeddah, Lewis Hamilton starting at what was it, P16?
P16, yeah. Man, he had a rough qualifying session in Jeddah.
Mercedes car isn't built for all those twists and turns. And what's crazy is not only is their car not built for that, but they don't even have the fastest straight line speed.
No, I mean, like we said earlier, that porpoising is completely killing them. And I believe Toto Wolff came out saying that the vehicle ain't performing in real life as it's performing in the simulations or in the wind tunnels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely have something to figure out, because right now they are definitely, I don't want to say they're not competitive, because obviously they've got a podium, but they're not where they should be, right?
Yeah.
That's not where you expect a 7-time world champion to be.
Definitely not. And also going back to qualifying, Sergio Perez, I believe, getting his very first Mexican ever to have a pole position. So
history.
Congratulations to him. Too bad it didn't quite shake out like that in the middle of the race, though. Went for a early tire change and got stuck behind a safety car. Ended up costing him 3 positions, and he just never got it back.
No, it was just terrible timing. Right? Don't believe I recall who crashed, but it might have been Latifi, because he always crashing.
That's the new mascot.
That's that new Nikita. Yeah, that's the new Nikita. Yeah, it was just terrible timing, and Red Bull ended up paying for it, right?
Yeah, yo guys, speaking of Latifi, I saw on Twitter today that there's an account that is just called "Did Latifi Crash?" and all they do is tweet whether or not he crashed. It's hilarious. So shout out to them. That's funny as hell.
Yeah,
It is for entertainment. I'm glad. Hopefully he's being a good sport about it. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Also in this Jeddah race, we had another battle between Max and Charles. Fucking they are really going at it this year, man. It's fucking.
That's something we're gonna see for the rest of the year, man. I'm telling
Yeah, for sure.
you, seeing that for the rest of the year, and I think it's exciting. It's funny because they're like really close, and they used to grow up karting together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, one of the things that I saw between those two facing each other is how they have completely different race styles, in the sense of Charles Leclerc at some points knew that he had to give up the number 1 position, right, during a turn, and be like, hey, I'm gonna let him pass him now, because when I come out of this turn, I'm actually gonna have the speed on him in the DRS, and then he would just immediately overtake and get back that position. So Max Verstappen, he's a great driver, right? He's kind of started realizing that, and pretty much did the same thing to Charles Leclerc to take the lead and ultimately win it. So there's definitely, between those two, there's definitely going to be some exciting races. But right now, I believe the Red Bull has the straightaway speed over the Ferraris. But that Ferraris, when they take the turns, the car settles very well and almost immediately, so they can definitely take those turns at a higher speed than the Ferraris.
That's a fact. And I want to piggyback on what you was talking about with Leclerc. Like that one move during the safety car, when you know how Max always tries to jump that safety car.
Yeah.
Whenever he was just pushing them to the right on that final corner when the safety car came in, forcing him to turn wide so he can get that extra speed. It's just like smart plays like that. It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be real interesting. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I mean, Max Verstappen is smart. He's aggressive. Sometimes he's reckless. I know that one of the things that kind of did throw me off is he's a great, Max Verstappen is a great driver. We can't deny it. I mean, he's a world champion, but He complains a lot sometimes.
Yo,
for
he
my
is
taste.
whiny
Whiny.
as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he went over that line. Like,
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Just race,
Yeah.
bro. If you great like that, just race.
But he
Look at
believes that every race director's out to get him. I don't know why.
That's crazy.
Yep.
But one more thing I want to bring up because I feel like it added to the action in both the first two races. How do y'all feel about the helmet cam? Because I think it's the greatest thing that they've added to Formula One.
Looks cool as shit.
Yeah,
like seriously, that camera view is dope.
I don't know how they react. I don't know. Once I saw the helmet cam and see what their field of view actually is, and they're definitely. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do that at all. I would.
Halo right there.
If there's
Exactly.
yeah.
And they doing it with all them underneath all them weather conditions like sun, rain.
Anytime.
Yeah, I think the only driver that we might be able to go against is probably Nikita Mazepin's first race because he only made it to turn one. But besides that, I don't think I would be able to compete with anybody.
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna move on into talking about this week's race, the Australian GP. They're racing in Melbourne. Daniel Ricciardo back at what I guess people would say is his home track, but I don't think he's really raced there that often. It's been like 3 years, I think.
Say his home track is Australian.
Yeah, pretty much. We're just kind of getting into it during practice. Yo, everybody was getting in everyone's way. Like everybody's complaining about this guy's impeding me. This guy's in the way. He's going too slow, and you kind of saw that bleed over a little bit into qualifying. Practice one, Carlos Sainz actually set the fastest time, and I think also in practice one, Sebastian Vettel's car caught on fire, or not really on fire, but he had like some engine issues and it started smoking, and so they had to use the extinguisher. His day was done, caused a red flag.
This was during their practice?
Yeah, this was during practice.
Right there because that's when he literally just came back this week.
P1?
Hadn't been in the car at all. Yeah.
Yeah. This is
Was it during practice one?
Race.
Yeah, during practice
No,
one.
that was P1 or P2?
No, that was practice one. That happened.
Jeez.
But between practices, this reporter asked Fernando Alonso if he was pissed that Alpine hadn't really given him a car capable of competing for championships, and he handled it like a champ. Basically just all the cars are new, and everybody's still figuring things out. It'll get better.
That's kind of crazy to say some shit like that at the beginning of the season, though.
It is.
Like, people are already complaining. Like, I don't know. That's just me. But I don't know what's going on. Like, I would just be patient. Period. Like,
yeah, just keep your head down.
I already know this is a whole new drive. This is a whole new car, so I'm not gonna say nothing too crazy. Now, like, if we get halfway through the season and we having the same problems that we had at the beginning of the season, that's one thing. But like, shit, new problems. I'm not gonna be mad at my team right now. Shit, is everyone trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody trying to figure it out.
For sure. P2 finished with Charles Leclerc ending up having the fastest lap. So in P1 and P2, both Ferrari, they are looking just as fast as ever, like all season. They are suffering from porpoising. You can see, especially whenever they like to show the overhead cam, you can see their heads bouncing a lot. So I don't know what they're gonna do about this porpoising issue, man. Like,
they don't really have that issue turning the turns, though.
Yeah, in the turns, it seems like the car settles and it's pretty smooth. It's mostly on the straightaways for them. And
it's crazy because even though they're having all these porpoising issues, they're still coming in first. Even like with the practices, they have some type of like cars and teams upgrade their cars throughout the entire year. It's like different parts that they put on there. They had actually put in a new part. I think it was some type of engine upgrade or something, and they put it in one of the drivers' cars, but just for qualifying, as you know, like if you whatever part is in your car for qualifying, you have to go into the race with that. I guess they decided to take it off just so it wouldn't be like any, I guess, unfair use or mistreatment, I guess, if you want to say. I want to know, like, how do y'all feel about that? Y'all think y'all just would have left it? First off, who do y'all think the driver was? Who would you?
Pretty sure it was Leclerc, but for me and my fantasy purposes, I would have wanted Carlos Sainz to go.
Carlos. I think it was probably Carlos Sainz, just because he hasn't performed quite as well as Leclerc, and they probably want to try to even it out.
So I'd be honest, I could go either way, right? The argument can be either way. If it was me, I would go on the same train of thought and go with Sainz, because you obviously Charles Leclerc is not missing the pace. Charles Leclerc definitely has the pace, and he has been proven in the last 2 races, and I think he's proven he's gonna prove it again this week. But I would have went with Sainz.
Yeah, so they ended up having that piece with Leclerc, and he said he enjoyed it and made the car feel a little bit smoother, a little bit better, but like I alluded to, they took it out. They went ahead and let them race with the same car. Do y'all think that's do y'all think that's still going on? Like every driver is driving with the same car, driving with different cars, different upgrades, better upgrades, old parts, better new parts.
I think to an extent, right? Right now, teams are pretty much learning this new model that they have, and you got to do your R&D, right? And sometimes that's gonna spill over into race day, or at least and definitely into the practice runs. Yeah. So yeah, I think there are gonna be some vehicles that are not the same, but I believe the teams try to keep them the both vehicles to be completely the same, not only because it's fair, because also some teams have a contractual agreement that the vehicles have to be the same. So yeah. But do I think that some teams definitely experiment during practices? Absolutely. I think it's something that's necessary.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way you're gonna figure out if the part better or not. You don't really have time to waste when you only got one of them. You got to figure it out.
That's a fact. I feel like they should have just went ahead and put it on one of them, and just like how A-Rod and you alluded to, and how C wanted to do. I would have gave that to Carlos Sainz. Not saying that he's struggling. Not saying that he absolutely needs it, but I feel like my number one guy that's finishing first ahead of you, you know what I'm saying? He's finishing on pole. His pace is great, even though, and he's came out and said that he's been struggling over during the weekends and the practices and the qualifyings and stuff like that. So I'd rather give this piece to you so you can catch up to our number one guy. So that way,
you gonna tell Carlos Sainz he not the number one guy?
No, I'm not gonna say he's not the number one guy, but I mean, I feel like that he should know that. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the humility you have. Mm-hmm. This dude that finished on pole, the first race he finished on pole. Second race he finished second. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you finished right behind him. You struggling. You know you're struggling. You didn't let us know that you're struggling. You didn't let the world know that you're struggling. Let's give you this piece, bro, so you can stop struggling like that. You feel me? It ain't nothing saying that you need a handicap. It's just, this is the team. Not saying that he's a better driver than you, even though he's performing better than you right now, but that doesn't mean he's a better driver. Mm-hmm. I like their dynamic though. Ferrari did real good with signing those two guys. They look like they real cool. They get along great. They're doing what they're supposed to do. I like that.
Yeah. Their team is set up nicely. P3, I don't remember anything too major happening. If anybody listening remembers, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I do know that Lando Norris actually finished P3 with the fastest lap time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
Yep. Actually, McLaren's been looking better this week. A lot better than they've been looking. So
stronger. Yep.
Yeah, things are on the up for them. Moving into qualifying. Go ahead.
Did we already talk about this? Didn't Lance Stroll have like an accident? He had to go into pits, and then a red flag happened. Something happened to Sebastian Vettel's car. He wasn't going to be able to get out to qualifying, and then a red flag happened, and they ended up getting his car out. Lance Stroll got his tire.
Yeah.
Oh
Fixed.
yeah.
And then they started qualifying after that, right?
Yes, that's completely correct. At P3, both Aston Martins crashed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're right. Oh gosh.
Both Aston Martins crashed, right? And all in the same turn, right? It seems like that track is slick. I don't remember what turn number it is, but they pretty much both crashed in the same spot. Battles was definitely a lot worse, but what that mech team did to kind of like bring it back and being able to give them a chance to go into qualifying, it's crazy because those cars were messed up.
Yeah, for sure.
They did that in like 40 minutes or so, under an hour.
Yeah. Speaking to the slickness of the track, I do know that 2 turns have been modified, and they also repaved the surface. They've been running races on it all week to try to get it hammered out, but they're still saying it's slick out there. Even, the Ferraris, the Red Bulls, they're all complaining about it being slick. They're also complaining about it being ridiculously bright. There was a time where all of them were asking for the darkest tint of visor that they could get because that Australian sun was right in their eyes.
And they showed that angle right there whenever they was coming through that little chicane through the trees. The sun was poking out. I don't see how they was hitting that turn.
Yeah,
it looked like on one of the replays, like someone almost crashed. Like they had to hurry up and turn right.
Was it that bad, bro? He said, I don't know how.
That view that they got is dope. I like how they got it, but whenever they hit that right, that glare.
Yeah, it's damn near blind. You can't even see where the curb is until you're right on it. Yeah. But going back to what you guys were talking about, the Aston Martins getting back out there. One of them actually only got out into qualifying because his teammate decided to make a right turn into Latifi.
That was really weird.
Giving him enough time to finish getting his car worked on so he could get out there and qualify.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people felt that Latifi was at fault. The other people felt that Lance Stroll was at fault. I think personally Lance Stroll was at fault here. I understand why he made the mistake, but he definitely didn't have the situational awareness. He got hit with a 3 grid penalty. But I guess it doesn't matter too much when you're 20th already. But yeah, the mechs, after they just repaired that car on the out lap, on the preparation lap, he crashed it right back again. So
yeah, I don't see what he was thinking.
I could understand him in the sense of he was just driving, right? He just let me through. So why would he go to pass me immediately, right?
But why if the line that you're supposed to hit is not up until further on, so that means you're supposed to stay left and then gradually go right. Why would you just turn right? I don't think he was expecting anybody to be there, right? Because the guy that was just behind him let him pass, so why would he accelerate? So I understand why he made the mistake, but at the end, when you did change that, you gotta have that situational awareness and know where that driver is also. And that's an expensive mistake. Aren't both Williams cars out of there too?
I don't think so.
Did Alex Albon crash too?
Not that I'm seeing on my notes, but I'm gonna have to check. I'm not sure.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think he crashed.
Yep. But in Q3, you know who did crash? Fernando Alonso.
And they were saying he was on pace to finish at least top 5.
Yeah, because in Q2, I think he finished in 4th. Like he was flying. So yeah, he was putting down a hell of a lap and he lost it.
He couldn't downshift to 3 where he wanted to, and kept on turning a little wide, and that was it right there. That's all she wrote.
He couldn't downshift it.
Yeah,
the Alpine is looking fast. The Alpine is looking nice.
It is.
They don't have the I feel like Fernando Alonso, he's cool, but I don't know about Ocon.
So I think Ocon is. I think Alpine is gonna turn around eventually. I think they're gonna do it this weekend. I think they've had an unlucky 1 and 2 race, but I think they have that pace. They are competitive, and now during the same time, McLaren is stepping their game up. So I really want to see how those teams fare against each other. And I think that right now, I think the Alpines might have the pace to take the lead over the McLarens.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting, man. And for the end of Q3, Leclerc takes pole position, with Max Verstappen complete in a row.
That was a real close one right there. Max Verstappen, I think Max, even with I want to say his time that he finished fast on first, he had hit the last corner and kind of like slipped a little bit and lost probably about like a second or two. He probably could have got 117 point something, but I still feel like Leclerc was faster than him by probably about like 100th or 1,000th of a second.
Yeah,
I think Leclerc had a perfect run. I mean, I don't think Max could have beat it if he didn't slip. I think Leclerc was able to connect all the sectors, had 3 great sectors, and put on a smoke show pretty much. But most of the times during that qualifying, right, you would see that the difference between 1, 2, and 3 sometimes would be 0.001 difference in speed, and in multiple occasions until they finally settled on these times. But Charles Leclerc is looking like he's going to drive this year, and he's at least the one that I'm rooting for to be the world champion this year.
And just talking about a couple of other things that happened in qualifying, Alex Albon got DQ'd.
Oh.
He got DQ'd because of a fuel issue. I'm not sure if he had too much or too little or what the exact issue was, but he actually ended up getting DQ'd from qualifying. And then he also apparently has a 3 grid penalty from the race prior. Apparently he caused a collision.
Starting in last.
So he actually gets to start ahead of Lance Stroll, I believe.
I believe he starts after Lance Stroll. I believe Alex Albon's actually number 20. But I mean, at some point they're gonna have to start having this guy start from the parking lot, because this man just racks up penalties. Somebody is gonna have to line him up outside the security gates, and he's gonna have to drive into the track and then start the race.
How the hell he getting paid? Him and Latifi.
All right,
all that money gotta be going to repairing them damn cars.
Y'all are wild.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into our podium predictions for the race tonight. I guess if you're in the United States, it's gonna start at 1 a.m. Eastern time. For anybody who wants to watch that. But yeah, A-Rod, talk to me. Who you think gonna be on podium?
Podium.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's gonna be honestly be Charles Leclerc, Verstappen. Sergio Perez is the one that I'm not too sure with, but I think this one, the Red Bulls are gonna put it back to the Ferraris. It's gonna be two Red Bulls and 1 Ferrari.
Okay. Sauce, what you thinking?
I got Ferrari, Red Bull, Red Bull.
But who the drivers though?
You need to think about it. I got you.
I got Leclerc coming in second.
You got Leclerc coming in second.
I got Max, Leclerc, and I got Perez, and I got Sainz finishing 5th.
Okay.
That
So what do you got 4th?
That 4th spot, I'm gonna do a dark horse. I'm gonna say George Russell.
Oh, that's real dark.
Okay, that's
real dark.
I don't think I had a dark horse, but if I'm gonna pick a dark horse for this race, it's gonna be Fernando Alonso.
Man,
I think
great pace.
Yeah.
What about you, C? Who do you feel like is gonna be on podium, and give me your dark horse?
I'm gonna have to think about the dark horse for a second, but I got Ferrari with 3 straight podiums, 3 straight races. and Verstappen making podium. So the two Ferraris and Verstappen.
And you say you want to think about your dark horse?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about it.
I feel you. So for mine, I'm saying the 3 podium is gonna be Leclerc, Max, and Lando. In what order? I actually don't know, but I feel like Lando gets on podium this race.
I feel like Lando might get top 5.
Lando gonna get podium, and then my dark horse, who I think is gonna shock people this race, I think Yuki Tsunoda, man. He's due for a big one, man. I think he's racing fine. I think he's racing fine, bro.
Get out of here.
Due for a big
know
one.
your favorites, man. You
Dude
can
on
know
my
that.
team, and I'm telling you, nah.
I'm just
My man,
saying.
This guy don't like to go in for a jog in the morning because he tired.
Bro, we all be tired in the morning, bro. Nobody want to jog.
Listen, he don't want to. He don't. Yuki Tsunoda don't want to finish in podiums anyways because he's got to walk up the stairs to it. So
that's how we starting the podcast. You just gonna be on drivers' head tops.
He don't want to finish podium because he got to shake the champagne up too hard to make that shit spray.
He
ain't trying to do none of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man, y'all are ridiculous. All right, and then for our final segment, you might have heard C alluding to it a little earlier, but we've made our own Formula One fantasy. We haven't looked up any other fantasy. We know we could have went and did one, but we just wanted to make our own because we felt like it'd be more fun. So the way we calculate our team's points is your actual driver's points as far as like within Formula One standings, and then we give a point grade for their position change from where they qualified to and where they finished in the race. Just to go over the teams, C is rocking with Lando Norris as his number 1 pick. Carlos Sainz, how lucky did he fucking get? Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, and Alex Albon. Man, I can never say his name correctly the first time, y'all. Second, we got Big Rig Racing. This is Sauce's team. His number 1 pick was Max Verstappen.
Big Rig.
Second pick, George Russell. Third pick, Sebastian Vettel, who this is his first race this year, finally getting over COVID.
Damn shame.
His 4th pick, the GOAT, Yuki Tsunoda, and and his 5th pick, Nicholas Latifi.
Or Mazepin.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So he's really banking on George Russell and Verstappen.
Exactly.
That's a sinking ship if I've ever seen one.
So funny enough, Sauce's second best driver currently is Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah.
I'm moving on to A-Rod's team, Omicron race team. His number 1 pick was Sergio Perez, who, as you can see in the way that we're calculating it, for you guys don't know, I'm putting it up on the screen for them. Sergio Perez is not doing well for him this year. Just a lot of finishing worse than where you started.
No, Sergio Perez with Kilby was
in the DNF.
The DNF in the first race, yeah.
That was a murder. For our fantasy, if you DNF, we count it as coming in 20th place. If you're upset about that, your driver should drive better. His second pick, fucking Charles Leclerc, who is netting him all of the fucking points right now. Ridiculous second pick.
Fun fact, in the draft, I was gonna do Leclerc Sainz because I had the double pick, but I just didn't want to bank on 2 Ferraris. In hindsight, kind of fucked myself.
Damn, imagine if you had them both.
For sure.
His 3rd pick, Pierre Gasly. 4th pick, Lance Stroll. And 5th pick, Mick Schumacher. And then finally, me, your boy Tron's team, Avatar Racing. We got Lewis Hamilton. That was my number 1 pick. in hindsight, I'm still okay with it. We'll see how it goes at the end of the season. Daniel Ricciardo, as much as y'all don't know this off air, I be talking shit about Daniel Ricciardo. I love him though. Obviously, I picked him, but he be hurting my heart a little bit. Valtteri Bottas, Zhao Guanyu, the rookie, who I believe in. I feel like he going under the radar. Like, he's been finishing decent when usually rookies finish terribly.
Yeah, he has been finishing top 20 every race.
This month. And then finally, the Lord himself, Kevin Magnussen, coming back to Formula One so he could help me win.
That shit crazy.
Loving it. But I'll make sure to put all of these stats up for anybody who wants to be able to see them and look over how we do our own Formula One. And no, I don't want your suggestions on how to make it better. But I appreciate it though.
We're gonna make it better. But if you want to join, hey,
if you want to get in, let us know. Leave us a comment. We appreciate it.
I'll give you Mick Evil Knievel Schumacher, man.
All right. But with that said, that's going to be the end of our first podcast. It's the P20 Podcast. We really appreciate all of you guys coming through and listening. Anything you guys want to say for the outro?
It's only up from here.
Yeah. Shout out to whoever's listening, following, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for stopping by, man. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Peace.